I'm gonna make the video that I intended to make several videos ago, but life is unpredictable here. So I kind of did this backwards. My plan was to give you all the information that I have regarding kill pen horses, auction horses, the horse slaughter industry, before I started saving horses. As you all know, that didn't exactly pan out. With good reason. We have saved horses' lives already. But now I think I need to probably address everyone's questions, because a lot of people don't even realize that this is a thing, that this exists. I'm no expert. In fact, I feel I'm barely scratching the surface. And so while I'll tell you everything I think I know about how this works, there are definitely better resources if you really want to get involved and educate yourself on this topic. Horse slaughter in the United States is not legal. It used to be. It is no longer legal. The horse slaughter plants were all shut down. Horses are very expensive animals to keep. And unfortunately, there is a huge, gross surplus of horses in the United States. And that is from overbreeding. That is from, people not being able to afford them. That is from the racing industry to some extent. Basically, if a horse becomes more expensive, whether it be through illnesses or they become a hard keeper or they become lame, a whole assortment basically of potential issues. And so for most, but not all, obviously, horse people, that means they don't want the horse anymore. And it could be, they can't afford to keep this horse that they can't ride on their feed bill, and also be able to afford going and getting a replacement horse that they can ride. You see that a lot. Sometimes, people just go broke. Life is totally unpredictable and reasons completely out of their control. They don't have the money. They don't have the money for anything, let alone to feed a horse. Sometimes a horse has to go this route because the state mandates it, essentially. The law mandates it through divorce, or because a horse was being boarded and the owner stopped paying the board. The racing industry does kind of have a bit of a reputation for being quick to dispose of their animals. They are breeding at really fast rates. The horses kind of serve their purpose by the time they're only a few years old, and they can't keep them all. Work horses, farms and things like that constantly have a turnover of horses as well, and they need these horses to plow fields, to pull things, to pull their carriages, whatever, and a horse can no longer do it. And again, they have a breeding program, and there's always new horses arriving, and so they don't keep the ones that can't fulfill their purpose. These are just some of the reasons that horses end up in this situation. So the first thing that happens is generally the horses go to an auction. There are auctions all over the United States. Most states have multiple auctions if you look into it. And at these auctions, people known as kill buyers attend, and individuals attend as well. Rescues also attend. Kill buyers are the ones that normally kind of have the deepest pockets and the most knowledge about how the auctions work, and also are looking for the greatest number of horses. So they show up, they're really great at evaluating a horse's value based on the meat market, so their per pound price. They will buy up any horse they can get for less than what their price would be when they resell them to the slaughterhouses. So let's say horses are worth $1 a pound, and a horse comes through that looks like it's 500 pounds. So that horse will sell for $500. So the kill buyer will bid up to, let's say, $400 on the horse. When they sell it, they make a $100 profit. These are very incorrect numbers, but you get the idea. So kill buyers leave the auction with the horses they've bought. They take them to what is known as kill pens or kill lots. And again, there's an astounding number of these. Most of them seem to be based in Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. There's also North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Tennessee. I mean, they're all over the place, but most of them are kind of in that cluster. They will evaluate them now. There is now, I would say in the last 5 to 10 years, it's become a lot more common, a lot more prevalent for the lots. The lots have understood now that there is a potential way to make money, to make more money off these horses. And that is by offering them to the public for a limited amount of time. Typically, they will be selective, the horses that are obviously old, obviously in terrible shape, sickly, can't be ridden, whatever the case may be. They don't spend their time with them. Those are direct ship. They go to Mexico. You never see them. Any that they think might appeal to the public, they will post on their websites or their Facebook pages or their YouTube channels. They'll even do little videos of them and they'll mark them way up. So this horse they got for $400. These are not accurate prices at all. Okay. Keep that in mind. So we're just talking hypotheticals here. They bought the horse for $400. They know they can sell it for $500. They'll offer it to the public for $600 because they'd rather make that extra money if they can. And they will say, 1 week from now, this horse is shipping to Mexico unless someone wants to give us $600 for it. Typically, those prices are like double. And then they wait. And rescue groups have gotten really great about getting involved. The public has done a wonderful job of stepping up. And even if they can't personally take a horse or own a horse, contributing to help the horses. And it's making a big difference. A lot of horses are being saved and given a second chance. A lot of horses are never offered that second chance or unfortunately aren't saved in time. It's very expensive to do this. For those horses, what happens next is a big truck and trailer shows up and they smash these horses in the trailers. They don't want to make 2 trips. Gas is very expensive. So they just absolutely pile these horses in the trailers and take them on sometimes extremely long trips to get to Mexico. Generally, you can count on some of them not making it. They're not being given attention. They're not stopping and checking on the well-being of the horses. They're not giving them the food and water that they should be, things like that. And the horses are being trampled. They're not being supervised. And so it's really horrific. And so they endure this absolutely terrible. And again, many of them are also in pain or sickly to begin with. So they endure this terrible trip to Mexico where they are sold to the slaughterhouses there. It's very debatable how they're treated at those slaughterhouses, and how humanely they are killed. If you want to know more and you've got the heart and the stomach for it, there are some pretty graphic stories that I'm not going to get into, but just know the general consensus is that none of this is pleasant. And in fact, it's very nearly torture, start to finish, for these horses. One of the really ugly aspects of this, I think, is that sometimes you see horses that were used by a family for 15 or 20 years. They were faithful, wonderful horses. They taught their kids how to ride. They taught their grandkids how to ride, and now they're old. And so the people don't want to keep feeding them anymore. So they sell them. Or like the mare that we all just saved and her baby, she made a ton of money for someone by being a brood bear, by having babies, really good babies. And so they profited off of her for years. And then we don't know exactly why. More than likely it has to do with the fact that she lost her eyesight, which meant dealing with her, caring for her is a little more complicated. And there's a little more risk involved in her having a baby. And so she was hauled to the auction. You see really starved horses pass through there where their owners have clearly neglected them. Or horses that are desperately in need of medical attention. Horses that haven't had their hooves trimmed in God knows how many years. Haven't had their teeth floated. Horses need their teeth filed down essentially on a regular basis. And they haven't had that done in forever, and the horse is in so much pain. It's really easy to villainize, I think, the kill pens themselves, and I will tell you, some of them are absolutely deserving of every bit of the hate. Some of them are really terrible animal abusers in their own right, but some of them aren't. Some of them are, I mean, they're still performing this terrible job and making money off of it. However, we don't have any other solution right now. We're unable to care for all of the excess horses that we are creating. There's no other outlet. And so that's something that desperately needs to be addressed. And until it is, the alternative would be people setting these horses loose, or, killing them inhumanely themselves, or, just letting them slowly starve to death. So in some ways, they're almost the lesser of some other really terrible evils. And so in some cases, the real blame lies with their previous owners, and, possibly even going further back than that, with their breeders. It's hard to pinpoint exactly who to blame in these situations. And I guess at the end of the day, even though I have a lot of anger and sadness built up over the countless stories I see every single day of horses whose time is running out, it's hard to lay responsibility on anybody, I suppose, for why they're in the situation they're in. And so instead, we're focusing our efforts on just helping the ones we can. And it sometimes feels like we're making the teeniest, tiniest dent, because for every one we save, there's 5 that we can't. But it's important to keep reminding myself that, we've made a difference for the one that we have. I want to thank all of you for following the stories so far, for bearing with me while I kind of just dive in without really explaining all of this to you, and for donating, for just saying blindly, basically, okay, we don't fully understand this whole situation, but we trust you and we love animals. And so you all stepped up. The first rescue effort that we really got involved in, of course, the mare and her little boy. They seem healthy now. They seem happy and sassy, and we're gonna get to all watch them live out lives they wouldn't have without our help. Having said that, surprise, it was just the beginning of this journey for us. And so we're already rescuing more. We're working with some other phenomenal rescue groups. Some of these rescue groups have hundreds of horses and take in like 5 to 10 horses a week and find them homes successfully. And it's just amazing. And I don't know that we'll ever be on that level, but I would love to be able to help a couple horses here and there. And so we were approached about some horses that you're going to find out about very soon. It was kind of another situation where we didn't have time to fundraise, and we were able to stop all of them that we were trying to save from shipping to slaughter. I don't want to sound like a broken record. I don't want to constantly be bombarding everyone with the help us, donate, fundraise, here's our wish list, here's our links for donating. So I think we're going to just kind of have a general donate link. They're always below, but we'll get some official fundraiser links set up in the future. And just know that that's what all of your help goes to. So we can't thank everyone enough. Never apologize for not sending in large amounts. The little amounts add up to more than the large amounts do. And so every little bit helps. And every dollar that you part with, that you've earned, that you give to us, means so much. Also, don't underestimate, if you are not in a financial place to contribute, sharing their stories helps so much. It helps bring more people to the social media accounts, which of course we make a small amount of profit on. But as we grow, that also grows. I had people donate that specifically said, someone else shared the story and I wanted to help. And so just sharing it can make a huge difference too. Whew, so long-winded. Basically, that's where we're at. We're taking in horses. Our goal is to take them in, fix them up, feed them, get the medical attention, evaluate them, and hopefully ultimately adopt them out, because we can't feasibly continue to just take them in and keep them on our feed bill. And I don't think that's good for them either. I think them finding their perfect home, their perfect owners, would be a happier ending for everyone. And so in the future, yeah, we will also be offering them for adoption. As always, thank you so much for being involved, for watching the videos, for sharing, liking, subscribing, and yeah, stay tuned. We have a whole trailer load of horses on their way to us right now.